the same question, Mr. Azad, that are there not serious questions on our country as well? Does it not come as an embarrassment, whether it is the government, whether it is the policing system, whether it is the investigative authorities?
Well, the indictment of Nagra is something very, very serious. And I would say it is extremely embarrassing because for a police officer in India and doing this extortion and running it across with the help of criminal gangs across continent is something very serious. And I think this is a wake-up call for us to see that all such crimes which are emanating from the jails must stop. And for that, we have to be extremely tough. We have to give a knock to our prison administration, where a lot of things are going on which are not exactly in the scheme of things. And especially with these gangs, we have to really see that the cases are being prosecuted in the right fashion. In many cases, almost everyone is threatened. Everyone, including the judicial authorities. So I'm sure there should be a very, very serious look in. I hope the Home Minister announces a special team which looks into it and tightens up the prison administration of these places wherever these gang leaders have been housed in jail. And I'm sure then we'll be able to, by cooperating with these authorities, we should be able to catch almost every one of them. If we get the gang leaders here, and we should be able to get all their cohorts and all their followers, across, whether it's in USA, Canada, Australia, and all these countries. But one problem, Neelu, certainly remains. These people have they have very soft targets. And what happens is that they threaten, and that is the work which has to be done by the Canadian and US police authorities, because these gang followers of whether Goldie or Bhagwan Yeria and Goldie Brar, they are the ones who threaten and extort the NRIs in Canada and in America, saying that if they don't give the money, their relatives back in Punjab are going to be threatened by them. And so that is extremely important. And for that, you need a much, much better cooperation between the FBI or the Canadian Mounted Police and the local police to see that which are the victims in Punjab who are being threatened because of their links with these NRI abroad. That is a very, very important thing and a lesson which should start being implemented straight away, in fact.
In fact, the FBI, the prosecutors in America, they were saying that they might extradite Gurinderjeet Singh Nagra, the SHO. Can that be possible? Would the Indian government allow that? That's a very big and a very significant geopolitical question as well.
Yes, I think because if he's involved in a crime which is registered in US and which has such serious implications, then they certainly have a right to ask for extradition. And like extradition has been done of some of the criminals who have been based in America. But of course, America is very selective. They would not hand you over, criminals and the biggest terrorists like that fellow. What was his name? Haley in the Bombay attack. Yeah. So, but in this case, because it's straight and clear, their case is made out. And I think India will have to take a decision whether to hand him over or not. I don't think there is any reason why you should hold him back, because this crime is against humanity, that you can't carry your operations across, criminal operations. In fact, they should not be allowed to conduct any operations in India itself. Forget about carrying them abroad.
I'm surprised at the radio silence of the mainstream media on this story. This is a huge story which international media has covered, whether it is BBC or CNN. Everywhere the story has been covered. And one line which comes as a refrain on all the international news websites is about Lawrence Bishnoi, that this powerful Indian gangster was pulling strings from behind the bars and obliquely pointing out that he does have the support of the state. What would you say to this? And there is a complete silence on the Indian media side. There is no soundbite. At least I haven't come across any reaction from the government or the MEA on this so far.
I can only say one thing on this, Neelu, that for all such embarrassed things which happen, there are only senior journalists like Neelu who raise this. And it is well known. Even in the past, you have been doing it. And thank you for that. The media which is here, the regular media, doesn't want to touch this. It's just unfortunate that people don't get to know this. After all, it concerns the country. It concerns our democracy. It concerns our criminal justice system. So I can congratulate you and some other brave people who might raise it, but it's extremely important. And I do hope that the Indian government immediately reacts to it, or at least our CBI or somebody from home reacts to it, says, yes, this has happened and we'll take care of it, and we will be cooperating with the American and Canadian authorities that no such thing happens. Already the cases are being prosecuted in the right fashion, and then we have put an extra team. In fact, that will be a correct response to see that we are taking it affront and not backing away from it or not shying away from it. And I do hope about this media you're talking about, that it does raise these questions, proper questions, and allows an open discussion and how the criminal justice system yet has to be reformed.
What do you think does it reduce India into today? Of course, there are gangs operating in all the countries, but when it comes to the criminal justice system here, the policing system here, what does it make India look like? In fact, when this Niger killing also happened, we saw a decline in the Indo-Canada ties. Now here, FBI has raised serious questions, in fact, has gone ahead and arrested 24 people. Now, do you think that geopolitically is going to impact the Indo-US relationship, or it could turn into some sort of a deal exchange, like always what happens behind the curtains?
See, Neelu, as far as the Indo-US relation is concerned, you know what stage it is in. It is back and forth, back and forth. One day we are saying it's all hunky-dory, we are strategic partners. Next day, Trump again says something which is extremely uncomfortable. But one thing I can say, that our strategic relationship or the nature of friendship that we have will not be affected by tapping these criminals. I mean, that is for sure. I do understand. But yes, in the criminal justice system, there has to be some kind of a complete coordination and seamless cooperation between the various countries. I mean, if you have a police officer from here extorting with the help of criminal gangs, then obviously it's something pretty embarrassing. The third thing which I would like to say is that, and I've always maintained, that amending the criminal laws was putting the cart before the horse. It was like putting a jet technology on a bullock cart, because we should have come up front, fought it bravely and squarely, and said the judicial reforms, the police reforms, the prosecution reforms, and the prison reforms should have been effected. So I do hope now at least we do it. And one thing in the last, which I said earlier, that we must, face it up front, not, keeping quiet on the media. In fact, the statement should be given to the main media by whoever, NSA or CBI or crime chief, that, we have taken note of this very seriously, because this concerns, a crime against mankind. And we are going to take the following steps. That is the way to react to it and not shy away in any manner.
But also there would be one question, Mr. Azad, that if FBI can do it, then why not our own CBI? When you knew that these gangsters were locked in your jail, even then you couldn't figure out how they were using satellite phones and getting connected to the people internationally. So is it a sad commentary on the way CBI also functions?
No, you can't blame CBI for the facilities which are being made available to Bishnoi in Ahmedabad, the prison where he's lodged.
No, but surely
I
the
mean, it
intelligence
is
department,
total.
sir. No, I'm saying
No,
if
it
not
is a
CBI,
total.
surely the intelligence department.
No, what I'm saying is that the prison administration should know whether somebody is using a satellite phone or not. You have jammers, you have every system there, you have the prison administration, you have a army of guards and things like that. It is their job to see that these facilities are not made available. The job of the intelligence agencies is to tell doing this from inside jail, you must put an end to it. There is a home department over there. There is a home secretary. There is a jail secretary under whom this jail administration lies. So yes, in that respect, I totally agree with you. That is a severe indictment. It's not really, carelessness or anything. It's something which is known, and yet you are not doing anything about it, which is a failure and an admission that we are not doing what we should.
But also, like Lawrence Bishnoi is housed in the Ahmedabad jail. Now, there we know that there's a BJP government. Of course, the Home Minister of Gujarat will be put on the mat. But more than the Home Minister of Gujarat, there are questions on the Union Home Minister as well, who's Amit Shah. Now, what does it go to show? I mean, is he going to answer these questions? Is he not answerable? Who is accountable for this, according to you? Where does the buck stop here in this case?
See, Amit Shah comes into the picture because this is now an international crime. This is organized crime which is happening, in a soil of United States, Canada, and both these countries, their premier investigating unit, FBI, has reacted and has said that it is, continuing with his indictment. They have got the courts also. So in that respect, I said, yes, it would be. But even if not Amit Shah, the counterpart of the FBI here should be able to make a statement. And that's true because we have not been shown in a proper light. So it is incumbent upon us to reply because it is our the 24 Indian nationals who have been caught, and they have been caught committing crime on their soil and being directed from here, from jails inside their prison cells. So yes, in that respect, somebody who's of an equivalent rank, he should be able to. Why not Deputy NSA for that matter?
Yes.
And explain the whole thing to them. How many cases we are prosecuting? What have we done so far? What are the extra provisions? What is the law which we have made strengthen so that they are comfortable that India is going to react in a favorable manner and cooperate very well in prosecuting these cases and almost bringing all these fellows to book, including that police officer against whom, if the evidence is established.
Absolutely. And now a monsoon session of Parliament is round the corner. Let's see if the opposition raises this issue and can the government really answer on this sticky issue, which really embarrasses India and also puts Modi government on the mat. Thank you so much, Mr. Azad, for joining on HW. Thank you.